Hey, YouTubers, something pretty damn cool. So, I'm in the garage again. Yes, the garage, not the deck for a change, not the dick for a change. Deck, not dick. So, anyway, I'm in the garage again. You know what I'm doing right now. You can probably guess. I'm smoking a hashtag big ass cigar. Anyway, so I'm smoking a brick house cigar, not a dick house cigar. Yeah, not a dick house cigar. I'm smoking a brick house cigar, being silly ass big ass cigar. Yeah, dick house cigar. Yeah, brick, dick, whatever. So anyway, enough of that crap, enough of that shit. So I'm in the garage again. I'm smoking a big ass cigar. Anyway, it's a Brick House Maduro, so yeah, Brick House Maduro cigar, nice big ass cigar, not a Dick House Maduro, so not a Dick Head Maduro, so being silly ass like a big ass cigar. So anyway, enough of that shit. So yeah, I just had my dinner, so nice big ass dinner like the big ass cigar. Yeah, for dinner tonight, let's see, we went to Chipotle, so yeah, Chipotle, which is a restaurant. I think most people know what a freaking Chipotle is. You know, fucking Chipotle is. It's like a Mexican restaurant. It's like a Moe's, you know, not schmoes, but Moe's. Basically, the way it works, the way the shit works, is basically you walk up to the counter, or you can order online, like on an app or something like that with your phone, your freaking phone, and basically you walk up to the counter and they make the food in front of you. So essentially, you know, they say, okay, do you want a burrito? Do you want a bowl? Do you want tacos? You say, okay, I want a bowl, brown rice, pinto beans. Yeah, beans make you fart. Nice big ass farts like the big ass cigar. And then they say, do you want meat, or what protein do you want? Then they say, do you want, you know, hot salsa? Do you want sour cream, cheese, corn, guac, lettuce? Corn, not porn, not porn. Corn, freaking corn. So not porn. Yeah, pornography, being silly ass like a big ass cigar. So anyway, and that's the way it works. So, and Chipotle's good. Over on our. So yeah, if you're wondering why I'm not on the deck, not the deck, but the deck, it's because it's raining outside right now. It's kind of like drizzling outside, and I don't feel like getting wet. So I figure I smoke in the garage. So I smoke in the garage as opposed to the deck, not the deck. So the deck, not the deck. So anyway, so yeah, Chipotle's pretty good. Oh, Orban went off already. So holy shit. So yeah, Chipotle's pretty good food. And it's actually probably relatively healthy, I would imagine, because it's a lot of protein. The meat is a lot of protein. And also, one thing about Chipotle that's really good for me personally is it is pretty much exclusively gluten-free. So pretty much everything, I think I've mentioned this before on my channel, pretty much everything at Chipotle is gluten-free. The only things at Chipotle that are not gluten-free is the beer, which some Chipotle serve beer, like Corona, not coronavirus, but Corona, yeah, Corona the beer, not coronavirus. We know all about coronavirus. We're talking about Corona the beer. They serve like Corona, the beer, or they serve like Angry Orchard hard cider. They serve like, for example, like, like regular, like bottled beer. And also, the beer would be obviously like Corona has, not coronavirus, but Corona has like, that obviously has gluten. So, and like beer has gluten, wheat, barley. And then their soft burritos do have gluten. So they don't have gluten-free wraps, unfortunately, which sucks. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. And then their soft tacos are also wheat. Yeah, wheat, smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. Yeah, wheat, smell my feet. Excuse me, I'm a fucking hog. I burped. So, anyway, so yeah, they're soft tacos. their soft burrito tacos and or burrito wraps, and also their beer is not gluten-free. So that's the one thing that's not gluten-free. And they do say if you are especially sensitive to gluten, they can change your gloves beforehand and even get you fresh stuff in the back. If you're really hypersensitive, which I'm not obviously hypersensitive. And then also they say they're corn chips, not porn chips. Yeah, Merc on Discord, yeah, big ass Merc like the big ass cigar. He likes his joke. Yeah, corn chips, C-O-R-N, C-O-R-N, corn chips, not porn chips, not porn chips, but corn chips, freaking, fucking corn chips. They can have very slight trace amounts from the farm because the grains they're prepared at the farm have slight trace amounts of wheat prepared with that. So if you're super, super, super hypersensitive, there might be a tiny slight cross-contamination with the corn chips, not porn chips. But, yeah, pretty much everything at Chipotle is gluten-free. All the vegetables are gluten-free. All the meat is gluten-free. Yeah, meat being silly ass like a big ass cigar. Yeah, dick, pecker, cock, whatever. So yeah, all the meat is gluten-free. All the cheese is gluten-free. The guac is gluten-free. Guacamole is gluten-free. The lettuce, obviously lettuce. Freaking lettuce. And the salsa is gluten-free. And the all the the rice is gluten free. A lot of people, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why people think this. A lot of people think that rice has gluten. That's generally not the case. There are a few rice brands that have wheat, but rice in its plain form is not a gluten grain. A lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people think that rice is gluten. Rice is the same thing as wheat, barley, and rye. That's not the case because most gluten-free pastas and gluten-free breads are made out of rice flour. So rice flour is actually one of the most common substitutes for wheat flour. So not feet flour. Yeah, being silly ass like a big ass car. That'd be fucking gross, nasty. Feet flour, bleh, unless you're into those those foot fetishes, nasty. So bleh. So anyway. But yeah, so yeah, rice flour is one of the most common substitutes for wheat flour. So yeah, so rice in itself does not have gluten. There are some packaged rices, for example, in stores that might have either trace amounts or they might have wheat added. But rice in its plain form is naturally gluten-free. Same thing as oats, not goats, not blah, but oats. Oats in their natural form are gluten-free, but most oats are cross-contaminated. Most oatmeal, not goat meal, like my dad calls it goat meal. Yeah, goat, freaking goat meal. But oatmeal in its natural form is gluten-free, but most oatmeal is contaminated. That's why they make gluten-free oatmeal. So. It depends on how sensitive you are. I mean, really, technically, because I'm a celiac, I really should be only eating gluten-free, gluten-free oatmeal. I generally do eat gluten-free oatmeal when I do eat oatmeal. I don't eat oatmeal very often, so I used to love oatmeal. I used to have oatmeal all the time. Nice big-ass oatmeal, like the big-ass cigar. So, yeah. But I don't have oatmeal as often as anymore. It's kind of a hassle to make sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, most substitutes for wheat are potato flour, soy flour, for example, rice flour. There's also, I actually did a whole series on this about a year or two ago, a whole series on flour. So there's buckwheat flour, not fuckwheat flour. Buckwheat flour, B-U-C-K, like a buck, like a deer. Buckwheat flour. And there's also, there's rice flour. There's lots of different types of flour. So There's a lot of options for people who are either sensitive, allergic, or celiac, so or people who are just choosing to be gluten-free. This is not burning well. I wonder if this is tunneling. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hole in it. So, yeah. But the bottom line is there's a lot of options. Let's see how crisp. Oh, this is pretty warm. Yeah, there's a lot of options for people who are gluten-free. So, gluten-free stuff has gotten better over the years. Yeah, it's gotten better. Yeah, inhaled a little bit. Swallowed a little bit of smoke. Excuse me. So, yeah, gluten-free stuff has gotten better over the years. It's not like, 20 years ago where it was really scarce and hard to find. And the thing you have to remember, this is what I always tell people when people say, oh, gluten-free is all hard, it's all BS, it's hard, it's bullshit, it's hard, it's hard to do whatever. The thing you have to remember, this is what I always tell people, is the thing you have to remember is, number one, all fresh fruits, gluten-free. All fresh vegetables, including frozen vegetables, gluten-free. Those are all naturally gluten-free. So right off the bat, any fresh fruit, any fresh vegetable is automatically gluten-free, regardless. All fresh meat in its natural meat, yeah, pecker, yeah, being silly, like a big cigar, yeah, dick. All fresh meat in its natural state is gluten-free. Chicken, pork, beef, veal, lamb, anything like that, turkey, in its natural state, gluten-free. All fresh seafood in its natural state, gluten-free. Cod, shark, shrimp, swordfish, lobster, all tuna fish, all in its natural state, gluten-free. Another thing you have to remember, nuts, not nuts as in your testicles, but nuts as in like peanuts and almonds, in their natural state, gluten-free. Nuts that are not cross-contaminated, automatically gluten-free. All nuts, gluten-free. Walnuts, cashews, pecans, almonds, all gluten-free. Let's see what else. Most alcoholic beverages gluten-free. Beer is not gluten-free because it's barley and it's too high of a parts per million. It's closer to 200 parts per million, so that's not gluten-free, not safe. So, beer is not gluten-free, and ale is not gluten-free, and like that kind of stuff. But in terms of like cider, gluten-free. Cider, gluten-free. Wine, 99% of wine, gluten-free. Depending how sensitive you are. This all comes down to depending how sensitive you are. Because some people are so hypersensitive, they're so fucking sensitive, that even, like, for example, like, tiny trace amounts in, like, wine from, like, a barrel that might have wheat paste on it, yeah, that can actually cause a reaction. That, for me, wouldn't cause a reaction, but for some people could cause a reaction. So, wine in its natural state, gluten-free. Most hard liquors, including vodka, including rum, tequila, gin, scotch, bourbon, gluten-free. Let's see. You have to be careful of flavored vodkas because some flavored vodkas have wheat. Like like raspberry, blueberry, or cherry vodkas may have wheat. Margaritas, which is tequila, gluten-free generally. And some hard liquors are actually labeled gluten-free. Like there's a brand of vodka called Tito's, which is gluten-free. It's actually labeled certified gluten-free. So that's right off the bat. So there's a lot of options. And the things you really miss on the gluten-free diet from like me is like, going to McDonald's and having the double quarter pounder. I miss that. I miss that. I miss going to McDonald's and having a double quarter pounder. I miss going to McDonald's and having chicken nuggets. It's like, even because of even though the whole issue of like the pink slime issue, which was a big issue at like 10, 15 years ago, the pink slime. So the whole McDonald's pink slime thing, there was an issue a long time ago. People were questioning that whole bullshit thing, whatever. So, but there's a lot of things I do miss. Like, okay, like I do miss the occasional, like, regular cookie, regular chocolate chip cookie. I miss that. It's like, I miss, having regular bread, because regular bread does have a unique taste to it, and gluten-free bread is not naturally good tasting. You get used to it. I miss the regular, when I go to a restaurant, the regular hamburger bun or regular like chicken salad bun. That's something like bulky roll. I do miss that. That's something I do miss. I do miss having McDonald's French fries, which are not gluten-free because they have a breading on them. The good thing about French fries, if you're not hypersensitive, is most restaurants, while maybe cooked in a shared fryer later, generally gluten-free, though there is cross-contamination. So if you're not hypersensitive, like Wendy's and Burger King, not Booger King, but Burger King, for example, their French fries don't have a breading added to them, like a coating or a breading added to them. For example, like, there are restaurants where you can get gluten-free French fries. Like, for example, Five Guys, which is a burger chain, Five Guys Burgers. Their French fries are gluten-free because they're just cooked in 100% peanut oil. So assuming you don't have a peanut allergy, not a penis allergy, not a penis allergy, but a peanut allergy. Five Guys, their French fries are gluten-free because they're just potatoes, they're fried, and they're cooked in 100% peanut oil. So peanut oil, not penis oil. So anyway, being silly ass, like the big ass here, there. So anyway, so there's some things I miss. There's honestly, after being gluten-free for going on 6.5 years, there are things I do miss. And then you have, a lot of people, argue with me, like, oh, you're not being careful enough, like, you really shouldn't be going out to restaurants and eating because of all the cross-contamination. But you know what? I'm not going to live under I've talked about this many times. I'm not going to live under a fucking rock. It's like, not a cock, but a rock. It's like, I'm not going to live under a rock and never go out to a restaurant. I mean, obviously, you're somebody who has a life-threatening allergy. You can't even eat a crumb of bread without having hives and having anaphylaxis. Obviously, don't do that shit. It's like, because obviously that shit will obviously, send you for a bad trip. It's like, but with me, it's like, where it's a long-term risk. I'm not going to live under a rock. It's like, I'm not going to live under a rock and never enjoy myself, because honestly, that's not, to me at least, that's not living. To me at least, that's not living. Never going out to a restaurant, never having food aside from prepackaged food, that's not living in my mind. That is living under a frickin' rock. That's living under a frickin' rock. I mean, to me, that is not living. That's not living. That's living in a cave under a rock. So I'm not going to do that shit. It's like, no way. And, every year I have my antibodies checked through blood. Smoky. Yeah, this is starting to burn a little bit wonky. So every year I have my antibodies checked through blood, and it tells me if I am screwing up on the diet. So anyway, but I'm not going to live like like under a rock. It's like, I'm never gonna like, have like food from a restaurant. It's like, because that would be miserable. I mean, imagine that. It's like, imagine that. Never being able to go out to a restaurant, never being able to have like food from a fast food joint. Not joint isn't this, but from like a fast food place. It's like that would suck. It's like, that would just suck, for a better word, just suck. I mean, imagine like never going out to a restaurant, never enjoying yourself, only buying prepackaged food from the grocery store. That would just suck. It's like, and some people have to do that shit, because, some people are so allergic. It's like the people with like the peanut allergies, not penis allergies, peanut allergies, where it's like, if they so much as eat a crumb, they're going to need an EpiPen. It's like, excuse me. I burped. So it's like, some people are so hypersensitive that, if they so much as eat a crumb, they're going to be going to the hospital. It's like, and I feel really bad for those people. I feel really bad for those people. Because I can't imagine like never being able to go out to a sit-down restaurant or formal dining and like sit down and have like a meal. It's like, or go out and like get takeout or have to go out and be like so paranoid. It's like, you have to like lecture or like preach to the server for 20 minutes about the allergy. That would just suck in general. I mean, I can't even imagine that. That would just suck. It's like, so I mean, there are people who have to do that. It's like, and I would just can't imagine that shit. It's like, that would just totally suck. It's like, because I mean, wow, whoo, lot of smoke. Holy shit, wow. That cigar is putting off some serious smoke, serious foot smoke. I mean, I can't imagine living under a rock like that. And that's why I've kind of come to a point where, I'm kind of at peace. I'm kind of at peace with my diet. It's like, I try my hardest. I try my damnedest. It's like, my damnedest and my hardest, but I'm not going to live under a freaking rock. It's like, no way in hell. Like, F that. It's like, so I'm not going to do that. It's like, I'm not going to do that shit. It's like, it's bullshit is bullshit, so... I have my antibodies checked once a year, and so far they've always come back normal. So it's like, yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna live under a rock. No way in hell. It's like, no way in holy hell. So because to me that's not living. To me that's not living. I mean, some people have to do that, but I mean, to me that's not living. That's not enjoying life. And life is too short. It's like, life is too short. Same thing with the big ass cigars. This is the big ass cigars. I'm not going to quit smoking the big ass cigars. The big ass cigar for life. So anyway, that's my little ramble or rant about the gluten-free diet. Is like, it's part of my life. It's like, I'm always going to be on the gluten-free diet unless I find an alternate cure for celiac. But I'm not going to live under a freaking rock. It's like, not a cock, but a rock. It's like, so... So, anyway, cigar's almost over. So, yeah, enjoying my night. I'm going to watch a funny movie. I'm going to watch a funny-ass movie with my father, Papa Smoking Essie. And, yeah, so have a fun night. And then go to the cigar shop tomorrow. Anyway, the cigar's getting mushy. Have a nice day, YouTubers. Pretty fucking cool. Bye.